and skin your ass alive like we cutting chinchilla. We them niggas in the club with them poles, we the killers. We them babies at the back door who came through the back door. No security, we all on, what's this mask for? We skipping out of town, going to countries with no passport. You scheme on me and my niggas, that be your last thought.
Turn smack rapper. Only smack rapper that you know is smack rapper.
Okay, so I'm guessing for number 3, economics had something to do with that.
I was gonna say family.
Family.
You don't have nothing if you ain't got family. I mean, nothing at all. If you look at the most successful group in America, is the Asians. They have the highest education. There's this myth that black women are the most educated in the country, when the reality of it is East Indians and Asians. But the stats that came from the fact that they were the most educated and growing in enrollment in Black America.
The most enrolled.
So it actually became more of a divisive thing, right? That black women are outperforming black men, but not the rest of America, because it'll go Asians, whites, then us, right? Then Hispanics. And enrollment don't always mean that you got a degree as well. And then the type of degrees matter. But getting back to that point, you go look at I studied the wealth standard of every culture, and the Asians, they have the one that made the most sense. Number 1 is family. There's a way the daughter relates to the father. There's a way the son relates to the daughter, a way the mother relates to the son. It's a way they respect each other. There's a code built into how they're all supposed to respect each other. It's not based on each household, whether she talks down about her father. There's a societal code, right? Of how the son treats his father, his sister, his mother, how the father does the same thing. So now there's a structure for that. Each family just don't have their own way. That doesn't make any sense. But then what happens? If you build something, instead of being individual, they have group thinking. Group thinking means that you do something for the benefit of the group, not just yourself, right? So now everything that I do should be for the benefit of my family in some sort of capacity. What I'm learning, right? The moves I'm making in society, how it's gonna reflect back. So now when I go make a lot of money, I'm bringing my son with me as an apprentice, and I'm gonna pass this down, right? So now that's generational wealth. We just focusing on wealth. Generational wealth is sustainable. The boomers right now, they're the population that's about to pass down the most wealth, right? But you go look at Altino, it's got burnt down to the ground. That was about to be wealth passed down. They had that real estate. They was going to make a bunch of millionaire millennials. Now they can't do that, right? So while we looking at Kamala and giving billions of dollars to her, right? Why are we not looking at Altino and saying, man, let's come together and help bring this community back? That we literally just lost one of the first, right, communities that was built that was about to pass down generational wealth, which is the main thing that we've been talking about. Right. So in a family dynamic, you can do that. In India, the Indian women hold the most gold out of all peoples in the world. Gold just hit a record high. So what does that represent? The net worth of that family, right? So when they say by 2053, blacks will have 0% wealth, they were saying that we will hold 0 assets. Assets are becoming so expensive that by the time you get a job and become of age, you can't afford it. And they're constantly raising the prices, which is why I said American dream is dead. So the focus on family gives you a small culture that you come from, right? It gives you a small little bank that y'all building, a net worth of each family that's consistently increasing over time, right? Everybody reinforces a code that they follow. You don't want to bring shame to the family as you move, right? And then you growing up your daughter so that my son can date. I mean, not date, but get married, right? And then if I got wealth and you got wealth, that's more generational wealth, right? Your family represents what? Your family is in media, right? Your family is in textiles. Right now, these two conglomerates just came together, right? If we focused on, okay, instead of 45 million black people trying to get together, what if we want to build 1,000 power families in America? 1,000 powerful black families, and each one of them represent an industry, and they're the ones creating jobs for everybody else. Family is an institution. It's how you pass ideas down, right? I take my mindset and I die and I don't have a child, Yeah, it can be passed in other people's family, but if I seed that literally from my DNA, he's gonna get 50% from me. That's me that I'm reproducing in the world. And I teach him how to activate what's in his DNA. I just put myself 50 to 75 years into the future. Then he have a son. That's another 150 years. He have a son. That's 200 years. This is how you control time through family. That's why families in America are the ones who control everything. Hennessy family, HANZ family, Colgate family. These are all families. What they start with simple principles. They set up trust and mechanisms to make sure that all of these principles and ideas and values was passed down. So 100 years in the future, that family is still following that model that was created by their forefathers.
Right.
So family, we've been focusing on localism where we want to control space. This is my block because I ain't got nothing else, right? It's local politics. You know, everything that happened in the street in the radius, that's localism. Nationalism, that's when we start focusing on nation building. No, this is my nation. It's a nation within a nation in Islam, the Moorish brothers. They say nationalism, right? Then you go globalism. Now we live in a world where we know what's happening in Palestine. It ain't happening in my neighborhood, but I'm concerned about it. I'm not just buying American-made products. Everybody is on goddamn DeepSeek or they got a Samsung. That's not America. That's globalization.
Right.
The last piece is what we missing. It's cosmism, right? To where we back connected to the cosmos, right? We connected back to astronomy, not just astrology. Because every single culture, a civilization that was built, that's melanated, that was great, had cosmism, right? They understood the cycles of the universe and what times that we was living in. We live in what we call solar cycle 25. So every 11 years, the sun goes through a cycle to where it bursts out different electromagnetic energy, right? So we are in what they call a maxima. So we're in the phase to where we're going to get more radiation than any other time, right? So that has disruption of technology. It has a certain effect on skin conductance. So it's going to be different between people with melanin and not melanin. It's going to have an effect on heartbeat rates, can increase anxiety. So what happens when we have more energy? We end up getting in more trouble unless we have somewhere to push that energy towards, right? So that means we're going to see more conflict. One of the biggest geomagnetic storms that happened in the history was on the exact same day in 1921 as Black Wall Street, the moment that it fell. The bombings happened that exact same day. When I think about that principle, I say we have to find a way to where we're planning and we're living above this world. They control this little local shit. They don't control the universe. You know what I'm saying? I can look at this and understand we're in the year of the nine. It's a time of conflict. It's the end of things, new things coming. They study that. We take it for granted. They plan with astronomy and synchronistic dates, right? They know certain dates throughout time because they understand that this is actually programmed in our DNA to be a cycle, right? As men age, we have cycles. Your testosterone decreases. There's things you have to do. Women have 30-day cycles, right? They're already connected to the moon. We living on their calendar, keeping us off rhythm and off cycle, which is why we're not operating at God body level. If a woman has to go to work while she got a period, how she go perform? Right? You think she gonna be her best? Hell no, because she's fighting off that rhythm. Right. So man created his world. The white patriarchal intellect is what I call it. Created his world to keep everybody off their cycle. You know what I'm saying? So now we're not in tune with the sun. Now we over here in America, we got solar deficiency and we wonder why we depressed. You ain't had no sun in a long time. Right. You feel me? He ain't had a tan. He looking Drakish over here. You feel me? So for me, is how do we get back into the cycles of time till we start living in our natural time? Ethiopia got a 13-moon calendar. They created, Julius Caesar created this calendar, the Gregorian calendar, and the Pope is the one who instituted. And then all nations started following. And that literally meant that we was on their time. And it's a world that they control. Right. Radical just mean to get to the root. So when they say somebody radical, he getting to the root of it. He trying to create actual cures and solve things. It's not a bad thing at all. So if we don't do the most radical thing in our mind, and more so it's just about having that self-love to say, I love myself so much, I don't want another man to rule me. I love myself so much, I actually just want to be in tune with self. I love myself so much, I'm going to eat right. I love myself so much, I'm going to work out. I love myself so much, I ain't going to be with this toxic ass person. You feel me? They not good for me. I love myself so much that I'm going to treat the person that I'm with right so they treat me right, right? I think it literally goes back to self-love is the basis of all love, right? And if you get that in the family, and this is the last part I land on, there's things that human beings seek by nature. We seek significance, community, contribution, growth. Depending on how that's arranged, right, will tell you whether you're good for your community or not. So when you grew up in a household and you were greatly ignored, right, you may seek significance or love a lot, right? So now everything you do is based on significance, right? So now your moves may not be based on how you contribute to the community. If you grew up with that love, you're not tripping about significance. I already feel like somebody. I feel fulfilled. Ain't no voids to fill.
Right.
So now you like, you know what? I do all this stuff for love. You feel me? Like I'd rather do the things that get me the most love, to make me feel the best about myself. Or it might be somebody do it for contribution. I just love contributing. I love just being a part of something, right? Now, depending on how your psychology is set up, if you got somebody that's working for you and they're doing it for significance, it creates competition because they need to be better than the person they next to.
Right.
So now it's harder for y'all to get along. If they doing it for contribution, I'm developing my skills so I can contribute to the community so I can get love. You feel me? So when you have the right family model, you're not sending out broken people into the world, fucking up their communities. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get significance, and your ego becomes more important than your impact.
I was trying to tell them. I was trying to tell them last week. They didn't want to listen.
Man, y'all done got the whole save yourself tour, goddammit.
Yeah, it's going down. Get your tickets.
Tickets already sold out. Get them to the next event for sure. Yes, sir, you right.
Well, yeah.
19keys.com/tour.
One thing I want to close out with. What are 3 things that you swear by? 3 habits that you do daily that fuel your motivation and focus?
It's funny because I just got back to these good habits. First one now is meditation. First moment of the day. And in that meditation, I started thinking about what serves my higher self for the day, right? And what am I grateful for? So what you start doing, you start shifting your brain to even think about those things, you start aligning. The second one is movement. When you sleep, your brain is activating your glymphatic system. So it's washing over the ridges to clean out the neurotoxins throughout the day. But where did that toxic stuff go? So you have to move to get that from just being up here, because it's been sitting up here this whole entire time. And I believe it goes to probably about right down here. So I'm jumping and I'm moving around. Then the other one is, as I'm looking in the mirror, brushing my teeth with the opposite hand, speaking affirmations. You know what I'm saying? I want to get my brain aligned right before I go into the world. When I do that, I had the best days ever. You know what I'm saying? Each and every time, because now I'm not operating mundane. My brain is thinking. It's forming new neural connections by forcing it to think. So I'm brushing my teeth with the left hand. So now I'm not just operating on this algorithm of just doing the same thing reactively every day.
Right.
So now I done broke that. So now that I'm thinking, my brain also wants to continue to have that sort of order. Right? So now, okay, now that we're in this calm place and you got control of yourself, what's important for you? Well, you already told you what will serve your higher self, right? Let's write everything down. You know what I'm saying? Let's write it down. When I do that, I promise you my day is good. It's not possible to have a bad day if you set up with that neurological shift within your day. But if you allow it to be chaos, anything can happen.
So be careful who you wake up next to.
Even more important, use a condom.
19 Keys. Always a pleasure, brother. Always a pleasure.
My brother, thank you for having me.
It's Hoffa, trapper turn smack rapper. Only smack rapper that you know is smack rapper.